Welcome to a brand new episode of The 60-Second Car, the podcast that covers every single moment of the Fast and the Furious franchise. Today we're covering minute 58. My name is Dan, and joined as always by my co-host with the most boast, Mr. Daniel.
'Tis I.
It's diesel time.
60-second car.
Welcome back to the 60-Second Car. Again, this is minute 58. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all so much for listening. We were having a conversation before this podcast, before even this episode. So before each episode, we've had the same kind of similar conversation. We were talking about Call of Duty. Now, most of you have probably never played it. A lot of you have probably never played it. It is a very popular game. It's a game that I've been working on for the past 90 days. It's only been 90 days, and I've put out basically an entire book's worth of text.
Question.
What's your question?
I believe this is the first time you said it by name. You've alluded to it. Are you able to actually say that now?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I've talked about it on stream and stuff like that, but I've been talking about the fact that I've been working on Call of Duty. It's been I mean, if anybody is following this news and stuff like that, everything that's happened, I was working for Activision, and I still am working for Activision, which is the publisher that makes Call of Duty, and as Daniel mentions to me often because he's a fan, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Which is also
900.
a great franchise, a Chrysler 900.
Now we're talking. Casper?
Yeah, sure. I don't. Yeah, I don't know what a Casper is. I couldn't tell you what trick that is.
I don't remember. That might be the upside down board manual thing.
Maybe.
It's been a while. Anyway,
I don't know. There's a nollie and an ollie and a 50-50 grind and a board slide. I know those.
goofy footed stuffing.
There's goofy and regular. Who thought about that?
I think Goofy is left foot dominant.
No, Goofy is right foot forward.
Whatever. Sorry, Mr. Activision. I probably know.
It's skateboarding stuff. I don't know. I know that I'm regular, and I feel weird in 2023 to say regular when it's just one way, not the other.
Well, you could be talking about your BMs.
Could
those
be,
you want to
yeah.
keep regular.
Yeah, could be. I've been drinking lots and lots of caffeine for this little stint of the last 90 days, making sure I'm focused, because as a writer that's like asked to write as much as I have, writing that much and then losing, and then with the ADD and all that stuff, losing focus and not really understanding that you're writing probably nonsense and have to go back and rewrite it is so frustrating. So the caffeine helps. Caffeine helps me stay focused. But yeah, so Call of Duty is coming out soon, and we were talking about, and this is probably why people are frustrated. I'm not here to be a face. I'm not going to talk about it at all. But so I mentioned to Daniel that it's Modern Warfare 3, and then you asked the question, what sort of modern are we talking about?
Well, because it's the third modern, so are the other two no longer modern? And you came back with, this is a remake of previous things, now with new texts or something?
So we're releasing Modern Warfare 3, Roman numerals 3, because it's a remake of, well, it's a remake of it's a remake of Modern Warfare 2, actually, with the number 2. Okay, so we've been making games for 20 years. We just not making games, making Call of Duty specifically for 20 years. We just celebrated, in fact, it might have been last Sunday, we celebrated 20 years of Call of Duty, releasing a Call of Duty every single year. So, and then plus like other stuff on the side. So it's over 20 games. I think it's like 23 games. First one, Call of Duty. Just Call of Duty. It was World War II. So the first ever Call of Duty. My dad played this one. Yeah, I'm sure he did. It's very much a dad game. The first Call of Duty ever was based in World War II. It even features basically the main character that we see in today's Modern Warfare is Captain Price, because he's just a recurring character that has kind of been reignited and, you know, reanimated.
Is it a James Bond type?
Yeah, but it's the same guy.
So Doctor Who? Well, I think James Bond's supposed to be the same guy, but it's, you know, still, yeah, I'm going to say it's a James Bond type.
All right,
he's
moving
forward in time.
Captain
with
Price is
the
James
story.
Bond. It's fine with me.
Or fine, Homer Simpson.
Fine, Homer Simpson's good with me too. He was like a side character. He wasn't even the main character in like the first 3 games.
Fine, Mo.
He's a main character now. So first 3 games take place in World War II. They have some like cool campaigns and cool.
So you had World War II, you
like
had
that.
World War II 3, which was a remake of World War II, but that was I, and then World War II 3, which was an upside down 4, but in the like Fantastic Four logo, right?
Well, this one came out in I don't see a date on here.
Wait, that was called Call of Duty World War II?
Yeah, so I have this is a
God
semi-new one. It's 2017, I think. Purchase received. Yeah, it came out in 2017. It is made for 2018. This one is World War II. So this was the first return since the originals back to World War II. So yeah, the first 3 games were based in World War II, and then the 4th game, Call of Duty 4, was just called Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Right? It was just Modern Warfare. They went to the future essentially.
It was Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare?
Yes.
So, question, was warfare spelled with a 4?
No.
What are we doing here, then?
No, but this is on brand because it's kind of like the Fast and the Furious movies.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at, like Fate.
So, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare was the first of its kind. It was the first game I started to compete in, even though I've played every single one. It was the first one I was in tournaments in and climbed ladders in, all this stuff. First Call of Duty that I had a PC for, even though the first game came out on PC and I played it a little bit then. And then they did Modern Warfare 2 with the number. And it was the continuation of that. And they did Modern Warfare 3.
But this wasn't 5? Was this 5? Call of Duty 5 Modern Warfare 2?
No. So,
okay. So
they did Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and then I can't remember if they did Black. I don't remember the timeline. But there's 3 Modern Warfares that came out in that succession. The thing is, the reason that we're able to do a game a year is because there were 3 different developing teams that would make the games. So they would have actually a couple years to make the game, or like 3 years to make the game. But there would be a game every year because a different developer would make it. So one developer, the original developer, did the first 3 Modern Warfares. Then the second developer to come in, which I believe was Treyarch, came in and made 4 Black Ops games. So they were called Call of Duty Black Ops 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those had Roman numerals. Those were also based in Vietnam until they went to the future and got very futuristic. Yeah. So they got like high tech.
I'm trying not to openly laugh at your employer, but
it's fine. Obviously, it's before I started working there, and I don't write the game. I just write stuff on the game. So I don't. It's fine. So they did those, and if you've ever heard the phrase "Where did the numbers come from, Mason?" That's from Call of Duty Black Ops.
This is gonna shock you if you've never heard that in my life.
Yeah, well, it happens every now and then. It's said. It's not super popular. And then they did a game called Advanced Warfare, which everybody hated. I loved. That was very much based in the future with everybody had like kind of exoskeleton suits that made them kind of super. And then they did Call of Duty Ghosts, which is what this poster behind me is based on. That was my first ever guide, which also people hated. And that was
the guide or the game?
The game. I love the guide. I don't actually know. I don't know what people thought about the guide, to be honest.
I'm gonna look your ass up on Goodreads.
But I think people liked the theme of it, and you could tell because we eventually came to do. They did World War II, etc. We came to do what we called Call of Duty Modern Warfare. There's no 4, no numbers, no anything. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which was a total reboot. It had a brand new story. It still had Captain Price, and it still had Ghost, who basically became way more of a main character. Essentially, he's pulling a price that happened, whatever. They made Modern Warfare, which was brand new reboot. All this stuff had nothing to do with the original Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. It was just had similar characters, similar storyline-ish, but like not really. It was completely new. And then this is where things get really confusing. Because then we came out with the current game that's the one that's been out for the last year called Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 with the 2 Roman numerals. That happens to actually be a remake of the original Call of Duty 4. So while we're rebooting the whole series, that one has a very similar storyline, while it being very different and changed, very similar storyline to that. So the new one that's coming out this week, even though you guys won't hear this until the week after it comes out, is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, which is the remake of Modern Warfare 2. So we're going through and doing that. I know nothing about the campaign. I know people are upset about it. Again, I know nothing about it. I didn't work on it. I just know it exists. So it's interesting. So there's basically the last 90 days of my life have been purely focused on that and how confusing it may be to people, especially those that have never even touched the franchise and are hearing about this. But
I have a question.
Yes.
Is this your book?
Yes, that is my book.
Okay. You have this, as well as other people who aren't you, who are listed on this, have a 4.36 on Goodreads. So that's
out of 5?
Yeah.
Oh.
With
Cool.
50 ratings. So
not bad. That was the first guide I ever worked on. I didn't really write a whole lot in there, but I wrote some. Put a lot of strategy in there, and then now that company's dead. So it still exists, but as like a weird internet only thing. I don't know. It's weird. But the company that we made that with is dead, and I now work for my boss was another co-author that worked on guides like that with me. So we're doing that again, but in a new version, in first party version. That's like third party. This is first party.
Is this also you?
Yes, that is also me.
Okay, this one has a 3.88 out of with 32 ratings out of 5. So
that makes sense because there's not much in it because that game did not have much in it. But
you're doing well first, on Goodreads.
Well, thanks. That was the first guide that I had written as the lead writer for that one. So that was while it wasn't much, it was a proud moment for me. I have those copies behind me. That one, that the book has like a soft touch cover to it, which is pretty cool. When you touch it, it kind of has some give and stuff like that. It feels soft and almost suede-like with no suede. It's interesting. It's a good one.
So the other day, I was telling Katie Bear about the names of the first 4 Coheed and Cambria albums, and now I understand what she was feeling. Because I was like, oh, the first album is called The Second Stage Turbine, but here's what's interesting. Their second album is called In Keeping of Secrets Planet Earth 3 or whatever, and the fourth one's called Good Morning, I'm Apollo, blah, blah, 4, but it's the third one, and the fourth one's part 2 of the 3. So I owe my wife an apology.
Yeah, it's definitely confusing. I mean, Dragon Age kind of did that too. The first game's called Dragon Age Origins, but it's a little bit easier to follow. Dragon Age Origins, and then it went to Dragon Age 2, and then the third game is Dragon Age Inquisition. So I guess it's only confusing because only one has a number, and I think the next game doesn't have a number either. So I don't know. Five Nights at Freddy's is in the movie theater still, I think, and that timeline and storyline, I don't even know it very well, but I know it will blow your mind, blow the roof off of that thing, because it's fucked up and weird. I told my stream that there's like 14 books that cover that game, and they were all flabbergasted. It was insane. Do you know anything about Five Nights at Freddy's?
There's a creepy looking bear. That's all I know.
Yeah, that's Freddy. Yeah, so this guy, he started doing, I don't know, weird experiments about trapping people's souls in the animatronics, and the animatronics wanted to like consume people to like trap them in their bodies and hopefully suck their soul or something. And then he had a son who kind of got demented and became sort of this evil creature as well. And then he had a younger son than that, who's the main character you play in the first game, who then that's weird. I don't know, man. People go strange with certain storylines, and you know what? I encourage it. So keep it going. Speaking of strange storylines, yes. Exactly. Speaking of strange storylines, we kind of jump into the king of strange storylines, because there's a whole lot of retconning that happens in this franchise as well. The names don't get weirdly out of order, but even I have trouble remembering what they're called right in the middle. I don't know if you have those too. Like, is it it's Fast 5, and then it's like Furious 6, but I know it's Furious 7. Isn't it?
Is it Fast and Furious 6 then, and then it goes Furious 7?
I don't know. I know
this
that
should be like the one thing we know.
But that's the thing, is it's that confusing. I know I already got duped yesterday when I was looking up these movies, because Triple X came up, and I looked up the trailers for Triple X, the Return of Xander Cage, and Vin Diesel. The only reason you can tell from some of the stills in that trailer that it's Triple X is because he has a bunch of tattoos. Otherwise, it just looks like Fast and the Furious.
I did look it up. It is Fast and Furious 6, Furious 7. Fate of F9, Fast X.
Okay, so how do you spell fate?
Oh,
in the movie title, the official movie title.
I just looked at it. I think they spell it F-A-T-E.
It's
do. Not like, yeah.
They
it's
do.
Not like my post.
But in the tagline, it's F8.
Well, I mean, look, they got their bases covered in that regard, I guess.
But it's like, if you're gonna do all this weird stuff, just put the 8 in the title. Just do it. It's there.
This is the poster. They do both.
Yeah, no, okay. That's what I meant. That's what I meant by tagline. I don't know why my brain thought was like reading text. So they do both in that, but the title says F-A-T-E. Why? Just put F8.
So, the title, if you were to look at this poster and read it, would be Fate of the Furious. No, the Fate of the Furious.
Fate. Oh, it is called The Fate, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh my god.
The Fate of the Furious.
Fate the Fate. It's like Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson say he wants to have a Fate the Fate with you.
You got him.
I got him. Don't come beat me up, Mr. Tyson.
Probably still could.
I know you're kind of crazy and kind of like a big Joe Rogan Trump supporter, but whatever. Go away. Please don't come beat me up. Anyway, we jump into this story, and he's telling it very somberly, and he's really lost in it. So I mentioned this last episode, but I was surprised when going back that he remembers so many details, not just of the moment, but he remembers the guy's name. And he must be having some guilt, I guess. Remembers the guy's name. He remembers in this that he has to take the bus to work every day. He's a janitor at he knows the name of the middle school that he's a janitor at. And he knows everything about him.
I would think he knows a lot of these details because it's implied earlier that he went to jail for this. So he probably went to court for this. So he probably heard this guy's name and all his deals a lot.
That's true,
while
I
getting
guess.
sentenced and whatnot.
Yeah, that's true. Now I'm sure they do. But he says the full name here. I want to go watch Fast 9 again and see if it's the same name. Same guy's name.
Hey, looks at script of the first one. Kenny Linder.
Yeah, there we go. Kenny sounds right. But yeah. Oh, and thinking and listening or watching Brian as they cut back and forth between the two. Brian knows all this already. So he has to act like he doesn't. Like this is the first time he's heard it. I think he's doing a good job, right? Because we've gone back and forth between, is Brian O'Connor a good actor or a good undercover agent?
Right. I think in this scene he is. Weirdly, in the next minute he's not. But in this one, like, yeah, he's. I think at this point, it's almost like pull back because we're. This is the Tropic Thunder thing. He's a dude playing another dude kind of deal. But at this point, I feel like the part where Brian's playing a rando has gone out the window. This is Paul Walker playing Brian O'Connor, reacting as Brian O'Connor would for the first time. But you're right. There should be like a stiffness to his response, right? But maybe he's that good.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think we're used to like some directors trying to make it very obvious to the viewer that like he's hiding something. I think they do that a lot in movies. So maybe they just didn't do it here. But like he looks genuinely interested. Granted, maybe he is interested because he's never heard it from the lips of him.
He's hearing it from that side for the first time because he's probably got the very, sterile court documents in front of him. Like he's got the photo of the guy where he's all bloody from before.
Right.
He didn't get to hear he probably heard the why, but he's hearing the why from the horse's mouth, the wrench wielding horse's mouth.
Yeah, exactly. Is that, I'm looking here, is this also his dad that we can barely see?
Probably.
Okay.
It's kind of military, but it's probably a stock car racer.
Can somebody enhance this for me? I'm zooming in now. Somebody else needs to enhance because I don't know how to do the enhance part.
I think you say enhance, then you press keys on a keyboard.
Oh, and okay. I zoom, enhance. No, it's not working.
Activision money should really be coming in handy right here.
Yeah, anyway, there's a picture of him back there. I want to see it enhanced because I want to see if it looks anything like the actor that they use in Fast 9.
God, I want to revisit that actor because does he look at all like Vin Diesel or John Cena?
Well, right, and I mean,
or Mia,
and do those actors look like their older parts at all?
Right.
I don't know. I don't think so, to be honest, but I don't think that matters too much.
Nah.
And then we have this pacing around the entire car.
Can you zoom in on something in that last screen beneath the like ratchet guns or whatever? There's like a gray square that had that, please. Yes. Is that where they got the logo from? I mean, it's just Fast and the Furious logo. It's
that
just
does look like the
letters,
F, doesn't it?
It looks like the F.
What does that say? Racing Fuels? FL Racing Fuels? I don't know. But it absolutely does look like the font. I don't know. It's funny though. Hey, look, they have more belts. They got belts everywhere. And I these drills look like laser guns. I've always thought that about like car mechanic tools. They just look like laser guns. Who's this guy? What the heck?
And maybe that's your dad you were looking for. Is that not the same guy as the one earlier?
I don't know. I have no idea. There's pictures of all kinds of people, man, and they're like all different people too. So who knows?
Maybe I do know. Like family of the crew. What?
Right. I do know that all these pictures get replaced with different pictures in Fast 10.
Oh, of course. Well, if the garage was blown up, maybe they had to replace them anyway. But then they didn't think to replace with the actual people.
They did a good job at aging it again too.
Yeah. So right here, I think is Brian O'Connor doing a bad job listening, because he's like, whoa, wow, that's crazy. 120 miles per hour. Wow, burned to death. Interesting. Wrench, you say?
He does like a dramatic sit down, like, oh, I should be sitting for this. This is pretty heavy.
I mean, it is a heavy story.
It is a heavy story, absolutely.
I'd forgotten about the part where I heard him screaming and like, oh no, he was dead before he started burning to death. That was me screaming. That's when I wrote in all caps, Vin is acting.
Oh god, I was listening to All Fantasy Everything where they were drafting the Fast and the Furious franchise.
So because of you, I checked out that show. I just listened to the episode this week. I had a great time. It
It's a
made me
great
want
time.
to rewatch them all. Yeah. Roxanne Gay's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. So you remember one of them drafted, maybe they didn't draft this, but they talked about it. When the house gets blown up and they zoom into Vin Diesel's face and he gives the lip quiver, and man, that's where he earns all of those millions and millions of dollars that they gave him for this franchise. He woke up that day and said, I'm going to give them something to chew on. I'm going to fucking give them something. And he gave it all right then and there.
Yeah, in this still you've got up right now, he's really working that fan belt in the back.
He's working them lips. Yeah, exactly. There are certain moments where they do a lot more acting than other moments.
So coming back to the story of this scene, we talked about in the last minute, like, what is the point? What is Dom's point of bringing him here? Is show him the car, and then he's being incredibly vulnerable in this minute. So, like, but then, like I alluded to last time, I was trying to put my finger on the soundtrack. What the score is happening here. It's a little sad, but it's also kind of creepy. Because, yeah, then he starts talking about beating the guy with the wrench. He meant to hit him once, and then he just went until his arm couldn't move anymore. Like, if you're hitting someone with a wrench until you can't hit them at all anymore, that guy should be dead. He should be pulp. But so the music is kind of reflecting this, like, oh, man, this poor crazy guy.
Yeah, I mean, that sort of evil undertone, right? I wonder if that is meant to sort of be a revealing factor that he's the one responsible for the reason that Brian's even here in the first place doing this investigation.
No, maybe.
Of like, oh, he's actually not a good guy, even though we've spent the last 57 and some change, 57 minutes talking about how these guys are the main characters and they're the good guys, right?
It's his boss, the actual cop boss, being like, this guy's crazy. He's like, nah, he's fine. Like, no, this guy's crazy. And now he's like, no, I'm crazy.
So I'm telling you I'm crazy, and Brian still doesn't believe it.
Until my arm wasn't working.
Yeah.
I couldn't be grabbing this fan bell right now.
He does this look over. Yeah, I mean, he's got that face, right? So the couple things I've learned in filmmaking and stuff like that is when you give a character hard shadows, that's supposed to be their like evil character look. But like this guy doesn't, he's been given hard shadows, but it's not like directly across his face. But I wonder if that was like on purpose to sort of show, maybe that's like another reason as to why this may be the revealing scene where he may or may not be the bad guy. But the thing is, like, right after this, they just leave. Like, there's no problem.
Yeah.
There's no follow-up to this.
Maybe the shadows aren't as hard as they should because it's complicated. Like this lighting.
I don't like complication in my movies. I just want to turn.
You want the light on or the light off?
Yeah. Just give me one or the other, okay? You're gonna make me think? I'm gonna go to the theater and think?
The conversation about what lighting can symbolize just made me go like, ugh. I enjoy like being creative in a lot of like outlets, but I think film is not for me because I can't think about it that much.
I mean, there's a lot, right? And that's one of those things that people make it their entire personality, right? And this like because of what you just said, kind of makes it make sense as to why it makes the people have like their entire personality taken over by filmmaking.
Sure,
there is a lot going on, right? You think about lighting. You think about where the character looks as it refers to the camera.
How much of that symbolism is put on after the fact? Is this just the director going like, put it here, it looks good?
So I mean, it's kind of that's its own complexity in and of itself, right? Because there's a lot of filmmakers who will sit there and say, "I'm not going to tell you anything because whatever you think it is what I want you to think it is." So like, there's that whole back and forth of, I do a lot of things on purpose, and I want things to go exactly this way, but at the same time, there are other directors who will get you the same result, but having done it out completely by accident. And then there's a lot of directors and cinematographers, for that matter, that have seen so many movies that what they think looks good is something that they've just been shown 100 million times. So who knows? I don't know. I know that like when I was in school and studying film and stuff like that, I wanted to become a sound re-recorder, which is they're literally the last people that get to touch the sound. They actually put the sound on the movie itself and change all the tone and how it feels and stuff like that. Because I feel like sound is one of the more important things, but that conversation is its own can of worms as well. But yeah, then you think about that and you're like, who's thinking about all the different sound beats that happen? Who's thinking about what soundtrack are we grabbing, right? Because like you can look at this movie and ask yourself, which came first? The fact that some of these songs are extremely popular by extremely popular bands during this time, or were they songs that actually fit what the director was thinking? You know, sure. What is Rollin' gonna be a key soundtrack choice when you're putting the film together and actually filming it yourself?
Turns out, yes. Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. Do we like Rollin' because it has the name of a vehicle in the actual title of the song? Is that why we put it in here? And Limp Bizkit happens to be extremely popular in 2001? I don't know.
And tires be rolling.
Tires do be rolling. Urban assault vehicle.
You like to come back to the parenthetical in that song. I always forget about it.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah. It's urban assault land vehicle, urban assault vehicle, something like that. I don't know. It has the word vehicle, which is why I'm like, did they just pick it because of that, or does it fit? And I think it's, it's a little of both. So it works. It makes sense.
What a terrible Google. Air raid vehicle.
Air raid vehicle.
I just Googled Rollin' Limp because I knew it would come up, and now that's in my search history. So that's cool.
So if you ask somebody, how's it hanging today, and you respond with Rollin' Limp, do you think that'd be a valid response?
Yeah.
Yeah. Take him to the Matthews fridge. I thought that he said fridge the whole time.
The Matthews fridge?
Yeah.
What's in Matthew's fridge? There's not even a guy in the band named Matthew.
I don't know. Maybe he's talking about throwing him in the fridge. I don't know.
Unless his name's like Matthew Lethal.
Matthew Lethal. Take him to the Matthews fridge. Oh my God. Do you have anything else on this minute?
No. We touched on everything I have. He made a guy essentially brain damaged is what it came down to. And he takes the bus to work every day, or he has to take the bus to work every day, which a lot of people do take the bus to work every day. Yeah. But the way he said it,
he's forced to.
Yeah.
It's before Uber.
Yeah. Who knows how he could have gotten a job somewhere closer, but nope, has to take the bus to work every day.
Yeah.
And he's banned for life from the racetrack. So
right. That is a key element that I did forget to talk about. Him being banned for the racetrack. It's that specific track, right? Not like every track that's on that circuit, because they were talking about a pro circuit, right? And as we learn from Fast 9, he's on his dad's pit crew team, so like he's part of that.
So his dad's a professional racer in stock cars. Is Dominic Toretto banned from NASCAR events?
I mean, I don't think that's not NASCAR for sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it is like so. I don't know the rules behind what makes a stock car a stock car. I know that it means that there's like certain limitations to how much you can upgrade the vehicle. But yeah, I don't know if it's like a league thing or it's specifically that track. He does say the track, so maybe it's just that track, but they got race wars. Who cares?
Yeah. There's no governing body over race wars. He probably is the governing.
I think he is.
That's probably why there's. Yeah, that's why there's race wars.
I was gonna say, I think he is the governing body of that. Oh man, but yeah, that's minute 58. It's minute 58 of The Fast and the Furious from 2001. Thank you all so much for joining us this week and this today. If you are catching up still and you're not listening to this for a while, I mean, some of these things we're talking about, that we talked about at the beginning, not so relevant, but I hope you're enjoying it. I was mentioning to the friends that I previously mentioned about telling people about this podcast, that I was like, half of it, they're like, what do you talk about in a half an hour? I was like, well, half of it is just me and my friend catching up. And like several people in that group were like, that's actually kind of why I listen to podcasts, because I like just listening to friends like each other. And I'm like, yeah, cool. So that's pretty much what we do for half of it. And then we talk about the Fast and Furious for the other half. So I hope y'all enjoy that. And I hope that makes sense as we pull that through. But yeah, once again, go to danotage.tv/the 60-second car. Join us at all of our links and deets and all that stuff. And with that, we'll see you next time.
Family.